Streaming on clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 at 10.
Now on News 6, a plea from power companies: don't crank up the heat too high or charge your car too early, or we could see outages. The warning about the electrical grid, with temperatures dropping into the 20s and strong wind tomorrow, making it feel like the teens. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas pinpoints the timing of this extreme cold, and it's starting sooner than you might think. Also, a high school Hitler controversy, why a principal is blasting a student's morning announcement.
I would wipe that smile off your face. You are going to jail. I am towing your car.
Please, sir, don't take me to jail. I will do everything.
No.
We are now seeing an Olympian super speeder arrest. We broke this story last night, why one of the fastest women in the world told deputies she was doing more than 100 miles an hour on local roads. And a guy walks into a bar and shoots a balloon. And that's not the start of a joke. What we're learning about an unusual arrest in a bizarre bar shooting. But nobody should be joking about our top story now at 10 tonight. We are counting down the hours until the coldest air in 15 years. It's going to be dangerously cold. Good evening to you. I'm Eric Von Anken. So glad you're here with us tonight. We have you. We're going to take care of you. There is an extreme cold warning up right now for most of us. We're in the 50s, but this time tomorrow night, spots are going to be down in the 30s, and it will only get colder from there. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas has been all over this all week long. Jonathan, today's warmth might put a little people off guard.
I think so. Yeah, it's that insult to injury. I think it's going to make it feel a little bit worse as well. But right, it was in the low to mid 70s today. Lots of sunshine. But then we have this. This is not the cold that the people from the north make fun of us about. That's maybe when we get into the 50s and we have the jackets on. This is cold for even our friends to the north. Again, extreme cold warning in play. That's going to be for wind chills. When you wake up on Sunday morning in the single digits and teens, we're talking 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts as temperatures drop down into the 20s themselves. So here's the deal for tomorrow. High temperatures are reached in the latter stages of tomorrow morning. We'll hover in the low to mid 50s for the first few hours of the afternoon, and then the bottom drops out. We're in the upper 30s already by 8 o'clock. Wind chills likely already in the lower 20s because we will have wind gusts on the order of 30 to 40 miles an hour. This is the afternoon tomorrow. 2 o'clock, you see 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Some of us along the Space Coast and Volusia coastline pushing 45-ish miles per hour. That's at 7 o'clock at night as we have temperatures into the 30s. So just kind of an ugly evening, and then certainly a nasty morning on Sunday to be outside. We're going to talk about this in much more detail when we cut to a talk again coming up at about 10:19. Eric.
We will see you then, Jonathan. Thank you. As the temperature falls, and tomorrow it will fall fast. Most of us, of course, want to just crank up the heat, right? But some local power companies warn if we do not all conserve, some of us could end up in the dark. Demand could cause outages in the grid. One utility is even turning off electric vehicle chargers. Your Orlando community correspondent Troy Campbell is outside OUC tonight with their message.
Here at OUC, they're calling on customers to start conserving electricity during those peak hours. Other utility companies also say they have line crews in place ready to make those repairs if needed.
This is kind of an unprecedented cold snap that we're going to be facing together.
Dave Mayer with the Orlando Utility Commission says bumping down the thermostat a few degrees could help prevent outages.
As long as we can collectively conserve energy, kind of shift some of our usage to potentially later in the day on Sunday and Monday, that will definitely help.
Own an electric car? OUC says don't charge it at peak hours so the grid is not overloaded.
That's going to be that peak period from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., both on Sunday and Monday morning. So that's if you can potentially shift the charging of your EV or any other type of non-essential appliance usage, that would be preferred.
And here in Winter Park Electric is also urging customers to conserve electricity this weekend. They even say they're going to disable all of the electric vehicle chargers in the city during those peak hours on Monday morning.
We really haven't seen temperatures that are this cold since about 2010. So it's been over a decade since we've seen, the weather that's gotten this cold.
Anna Gibbs with Duke Energy says their crews are ready to roll out if outages happen. She adds they're prepared to send power to other utilities if they need more.
Florida is an interconnected grid so that if we are able to, we will actually share energy. It's called purchase power. So there's a variety of different ways that we help each other out.
Heat is not something we use a lot in our homes throughout Florida.
Bianca Soriano with Florida Power and Light says they've warned customers in their voluntary program they might turn off some of their appliances.
We may turn off your pool pump and your water heater.
And all of the utility companies we spoke with warn customers, if you do crank up your heat this weekend, do expect your bill to be much higher. They recommend you set your thermostat at a comfortable 68 degrees. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Still time, though, to cover or bring in the plants. But what about your pipes and your pool, if you got one? News 6's Ashley Garrett walks us through what you can do about that a little later. Real-world solutions. But first, she's handling this story developing now at 10 tonight. Outrage in Osceola County. A high school student is accused of running a picture of notorious Nazi leader Adolf Hitler in the school's morning announcements as a way, apparently, to rally school pride. News 6's Ashley Garrett is at Osceola High to explain the controversy and now how the school is taking this very seriously.
Osceola High School confirms to News 6 that, yes, an actual picture of Nazi leader Adolf Hitler did run in the morning announcements Friday. It was a picture like this of Hitler, but with his hand extended, saluting, and with words printed on the screen that said, "Good morning, Cowboys." That is the school's mascot. The words on the pic went on to read, "Today is January 30th. Friday, the school principal used the words "an egregious error" when confirming the pic of Hitler was used. In a statement, Dr. Elizabeth Kennedy says, in part, "The moment this was brought to our attention, the image was immediately removed. We want to be absolutely clear. This content does not reflect the values, beliefs, or ideology of Osceola High School." Dr. Kennedy's statement goes on to say a review is underway, adding, "We understand the concern and hurt this may have caused, and we remain committed to fostering a safe, respectful, and inclusive environment for all students and staff." Look, we know parents and others watching may still have some questions surrounding this investigation. One thing that News 6 is working to learn is how exactly was that picture missed, that picture of Adolf Hitler missed by school leaders, working to learn how that happened. We're also working to learn some plans and procedures that are in place when it comes to determining and approving what goes in those morning announcements. We'll continue to stay on top of this story. We have reached out to Dr. Kennedy via her LinkedIn to get some more comment on this investigation. At this time, we are still waiting to hear back, but if and when we do, we'll bring that to you. In Osceola County, Ashley Garrett, News 6.
From video of how an Olympian was pulled over to a sheriff's outrage over a death threat made against a judge. Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden have other stories making headlines in Central Florida earlier today.
A former cop facing drug trafficking charges is back in jail tonight. Volusia Sheriff Mike Chitwood is furious she was released in the first place.
He posted his anger on social media, but he also says that post is no reason for someone to threaten the life of a judge.
Amber, you know the good guys always win, don't you?
Sheriff Chitwood hired Amber Williamson when he was Daytona's police chief, and he was there when she was first arrested. Williamson's now being held without bond after police say the former cop and charter school teacher had 53 grams of fentanyl on her. This is the second arrest for Williamson. After the first arrest, a judge let her out of jail the next day without putting up any money.
Chitwood's initial post blasted that move, and he told News 6 he stands by his words because fentanyl is deadly.
We are talking about the most deadliest drug we've ever seen in our nation's history, and to allow that person and a former cop on top of it to walk out the front door ROR like, oh, nothing's ever going to happen again, that you're basically urinating in the face of all the hardworking cops that are trying to stop this and telling them it's raining outside.
Then, in a new post last night, the sheriff says he was informed someone made a death threat against that judge, something he calls absolutely over the line.
Judge Rowe, he's a good guy. He whiffed on this one. I mean, you know, judges are like umpires, and when they make mistakes, in my opinion, they should be called out like the sheriff gets called out, or any elected official, or anybody when they make a mistake to get called out.
Sheriff Chitwood vowed that whoever made the threat will be held accountable.
Please don't allow me to go to please, sir, please.
Listen to me.
Please, sir, I really...
It's nothing you say is going to change that. You are going to jail.
Sir, am I going to jail, Jake?
Yes.
Sir, I really was not intentionally speeding at
That's
all.
even more scary.
Sir,
that means that you're doing
please.
things unintentionally
No,
on a
sir,
task that
please,
requires
please,
all
sir,
your attention.
sir.
We're now seeing body cam video of the arrest of decorated Olympian runner Sha'Carri Richardson for super speeding.
Yeah, we first told you this time last night. Deputies say one of the fastest women in the world was clocked going even faster on the 429, 100 in a 65. Lisa Bell has the video.
Flashing them to get out of your way, are you?
The body cam video released one day after Sha'Carri Richardson's gray Aston Martin allegedly changed lanes in front of an unmarked vehicle. The deputy trying to keep up with her while tracking her speed.
Passing a car at 101, 103, 104.
According to her arrest report, it happened on Thursday, just after noon, heading northbound on State Road 429 near Stony Brook Parkway. The posted speed limit, 65 miles per hour. Richardson said she was in a rush due to an underinflated tire.
I would wipe that smile off your face. I'm Sergeant McDaniels with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You're being stopped for dangerous excessive speeding.
I understand my tire at the back is like literally on 29.
So you're driving at 100, hold on. You're driving at 104 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone with subpar equipment, flashing people to get out of your lights, out of your lane, following too close, using every lane to pass everybody, cutting me off, passing a car on the inside shoulder with their hazard lights on. You're going to jail for dangerous excessive speeding.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. My phone, I didn't even know my car was speeding.
That's why they give you a speedometer.
Richardson took gold for the 100 meter at the 2023 World Championships and the Olympic relay in 2024. But in 2021, she was barred from running in the Olympic 100 meter race after she tested positive for a chemical found in cannabis. Under a new Florida law passed last year, someone convicted of excessive speeding can land in jail for 30 days, along with a fine of up to $500.
You are going to jail. I am towing your car.
Please, sir, don't take me to jail. I will do everything.
No.
I will do everything.
All right, so make some phone calls. Let people know that you're going to have a $500 bond.
And tonight, we've learned Richardson's boyfriend was also arrested. According to the report, her boyfriend, fellow Olympian Christian Coleman, drove up after she was pulled over. Deputies say he refused to listen to orders to stay in his vehicle or show his ID and was arrested for resisting arrest and possessing marijuana paraphernalia.
To see that full, roughly 4-minute video, you can head to clickorlando.com. And for a daily conversational look at stories shaping up around Central Florida, join us for News 6 at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, Matt and I are there live every weekday. We hope you'll join us.
He broke down in tears on the witness stand, but then a surprise twist in the case of a former deputy who shot and killed another deputy while they were off duty. Next at 10, what a judge just ruled that could keep this case from coming to an end for a while. And a crazy story caught on camera why detectives say a biker opened fire on a balloon in a bar. Watching News 6 at 10 live on a Friday night, covering Fruitland Park, Heathrow, and all of Central Florida.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers.
New at 10 tonight, a former Brevard County deputy who shot and killed a fellow deputy will wait longer to find out his fate. Late tonight, a judge threw out the plea deal that led Andrew Lawson to admit he is guilty of manslaughter for accidentally shooting Austin Walsh as the best friends played video games back in 2022. Your Brevard County community correspondent James Sparvero has the update from the courthouse.
A former Brevard County deputy came to court Friday expecting to learn whether he'd be going to prison or just put on probation for killing another deputy, Austin Walsh. However, in a turn of events, the judge decided not to accept the plea agreement.
All right, Mr. Lawson, please raise your right hand to be sworn.
At this continuation of Andrew Lawson's plea hearing and sentencing from January 15th, the state called a firearms instructor from the sheriff's office to the stand. Commander Alex Herrera said he trains every new deputy not to point a gun at someone unless you intend to use it.
We treat that as a golden rule, and it's something that's established from day one.
3 years ago, when Lawson was 22, he and Deputy Walsh were playing video games where they lived in Palm Bay when Lawson says, as a joke, he pointed his gun at Walsh, and the second time he pulled the trigger, he shot Walsh.
I just sat there and I just held his hand.
2 weeks ago, when Lawson took the stand, he said he didn't know his gun was loaded, and he and Austin actually pointed their guns at each other, fooling around like this before. The ex-deputy broke down as he asked Austin's family for forgiveness.
It breaks my soul to know that I took Austin's future away from him.
Lawson would have faced up to 7 years in prison, but now that Judge Michelle Neighborhouse isn't accepting his plea, I found his defense attorney after court, Alan Landman, and I asked him how he feels about this. How surprised are you, considering you came in here with an agreement?
In my 39 years, it's never happened. The judge indicated that she has never done this in any case either. So that should tell you.
So now it's unclear how much longer it will take to resolve the case. If Lawson goes to trial, he faces up to 30 years in prison on his charge of manslaughter with a firearm. In Brevard County, I'm your Palm Bay community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
In Flagler County, police say a biker is facing serious charges for what police say he did in a bar in Bunnell that was caught on camera. Look, listen. That's surveillance video from inside the Bimini bar. Bunnell police say back on January 3rd, Richard Graham pulled out a gun and shot a balloon. That one in the middle of your screen, apparently to pop it. The bullet lodged in the wall of the bar. Nobody was hurt. Graham took off, but then officers tracked him down and arrested him last Friday. Our top story, of course, extreme cold, as the National Weather Service is calling it, and it starts rolling in tomorrow. There's still time, though, tonight and in the morning to protect your pipes and prepare your pools. News 6's Ashley Garrett asks the experts what really works.
News 6 understands how valuable your items in your home are, and that's why we want to do our best to help you keep your valuables safe, especially with the dangerous cold that's on the way. So if you look over here to my right, you can see all of our pool equipment, our outdoor pool equipment. This is how our system runs. And it's run on my parents' phone. Well, thanks to Dexter Mitchell at Pinch a Penny. That's a local biz that specializes in pools in the Orlando area. He shared tips with me. I'm sharing with you. Mitchell says during the dangerous cold, run your pumps at least 24 hours before that cold comes. He says to run it at a steady pace, like 2100 RPM, which is basically the rate of pace the water from your pool pump is running. Mitchell says running any higher than 2100 RPM in the cold that's on the way could cause your pool pump to be badly damaged. In Orange County, I'm Ashley Garrett, News 6.
Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas back to walk us through the timing of all of this. Jonathan, we said earlier, seems to be coming in a little earlier than people thought, or at least harder than people thought.
I think, yeah, hard. I think everything's right on time for where we were getting forward over the last 7 to 10 days. Saturday afternoon's always been that point. We're back to the upper 50s in New Smyrna Beach, 59 degrees in Daytona. We're hanging into the upper 50s in Leesburg right now. So a nice mild night, all things considered. That is going to be changing drastically by the time we talk tomorrow night at this time. Here's a live look downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. We're back to the mid-60s right now. The breeze out of the north and west at about 5 miles an hour at this point. Temperatures when you wake up tomorrow morning about where we should be for this time of the year. So that is seasonably chilly. We're hanging around 50 degrees in Orlando, 44 degrees in Ocala. For perspective, We're going to start tomorrow warmer than where we will end up for our afternoon highs on Sunday. So this is a mean blast of cold air coming through. High temperatures, once we get into tomorrow, are back to the mid to upper 50s. There's a little asterisk next to this, though. Most of these highs are observed before lunchtime tomorrow. Then that front comes through, and then our temperatures will plummet very quickly, especially once the sun goes down tomorrow evening. Rain chances at about 30% tomorrow. That's going to happen likely before lunchtime, out ahead of that front as it pushes through. Here's the deal. We're going to start tomorrow again back to around 50. We're going to jump back into the mid-50s by 10 o'clock. We'll meander in the middle 50s by 1. And then we start to tank as we get towards sunset tomorrow, mainly after about 4 to 5 o'clock. We tank to this Sunday morning, 20 degrees in Denellen. We're at 22 in Palm Coast, 24 degrees in Sanford, Kissimmee. We are also at 24 degrees. Those are the actual air temperatures. Again, our average low, 51. We're going to be running 25 to 30 degrees below normal. Factor in the wind. It will be very windy. Temperatures, again, going to be in the 20s. Factor in a 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust. And that is how we get to this point, wind chills in the single digits and teens. And not only is it going to be brutally cold outside, especially for Florida standards, we are going to have the wind. Taking a closer look at Lake County, again, this is one of the reasons why we're telling you to make sure that certainly the plants are covered. If you didn't cover them earlier in the week, they're likely not going to make it anyway. 10 to 12 hours below freezing is what we're going to expect. That's why you want to protect the pipes in this round of cold. And it's going to stay chilly as we get into Monday as well. 28 degrees when you start on Monday morning. We do get back into the mid-50s, and then we tank again to around the freezing mark. We'll rebound back to the lower 60s, and then by Wednesday, things start to get a little better, much, much better on Thursday. Another little round of chilly air comes in, certainly not as aggressive as this round to close out next work week, Eric.
This is the packing house here for Fern Trust Incorporated. Their packing house here is in Seville with their fern farm just down the street in Pearson. It's one of many companies watching this weather closely because it can put their plants at risk of dying ahead of their busiest season. 80% of the green foliage sold in bouquets in the U.S. and Canada is grown right here in Northeast Volusia County.
This is probably our busiest week out of the year. And we're kind of behind because of harvesting.
These ferns will be shipped and made into thousands of Valentine's Day flower arrangements. David Register with Fern Trust says freezing temperatures this weekend will put a dent in what they can harvest for the upcoming holidays.
Some of the tender stuff might get damaged a little bit, but with the added ice, that means that we won't be able to get it into harvest.
We actually went to Register's fern farm 2 weeks ago. He showed us the technology to monitor their 200 acres and the water system they turn on once it hits 33 degrees to keep the plants warm and alive. But that's designed for when it's in the 30s. Register says they'll have to add another layer of protection for the temperatures this weekend, turn on a larger water system much sooner, and keep it on longer.
And then run for 24, 48 hours, possibly straight, hoping that a pump doesn't break down. It just becomes a test of man and machine when you get onto the marathon freezes.
The inevitable, even small loss will still cut profit at a time when the ferneries need it most. Register says some ferneries have closed in the last decade due to profit, and costs over the last year have skyrocketed to keep business going, from fertilizer to labor to gas. Register says thankfully they have harvested a lot already for Valentine's Day, but there could be a domino effect.
And holidays like Valentine's, Mother's Day, Easter is real important for our industry because it gives us a little bit of a bump.
And when it does get this cold, they don't let their workers go out in the field and harvest. So while they might be okay right now for Valentine's Day, this also could have a major effect on their production for Mother's Day. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
We are back at 11 o'clock with all the headlines. We'll see you.